Welcome back to some professional StarCraft 2 from the ESL Open Cup Finals Korea Week 5. Two of my favorite names in all of StarCraft 2 history. In the top left of Nightshade, the spiciest Protoss out there. Originally, weeks ago, I would have called him one of the most standard, solid Protoss. Now, I call him Zest. Because apparently I wouldn't have been able to read his name. I don't know. Whatever. Moving on. And in the bottom right, back from the bowels of history to reteach us how to play Terran in 2020. It is Bomber. With his own take on modern Terran. We've seen some incredibly greedy games, some different unit compositions. We've also seen some old school unit compositions. He's currently on Team Titan X1. If you remember, for a time he was on Team Startail back in the day. Zest is on, I believe he's on Raise Your Edge Gaming. Or Rye Gaming. So we've got some fun teams in StarCraft now. Raise Your Edge Zest. Almost feels like it's part of the team name. A reactor immediately after. Okay, wait. Bomber. So, some games I've seen with Bomber has felt like Bomber is still playing like it's 2012. He's still just like going one Rax expand into mass Marine Marauder Medivac. In some games, he's playing like it's 2022, where he goes like 4 Command Center Cyclone into Viking Battle Cruiser Ghost or something crazy. Zest as well has been experimenting lately. In fact, even against Terran, I believe it was against TY. The match that it looked like, essentially Zest was doing like some drunken Zen Master action. That was the tournament where at one point he didn't wall off against Raynor, because I'm like 85% sure he forgot he was playing against a Zerg. Like, that was a great day of Zest. So hopefully he either didn't sleep or did whatever he did that day once again to make it to these finals. And then he died to Zerglings running into his base, like a Gold Leaguer. So, that's how that ended. Just spoilers. It's gonna be Blink. And Blink Stalkers have kind of shifted in and out of the meta, as people say. For a time, Blink Stalkers were the standard. Now they're a little bit more rare. There's a little more variety in PvT between the robotics facility and the Stargate being whipped out as well. It doesn't feel so much map dependent, as builds kind of have a cooldown, especially for Protoss, because for Protoss your tech is the most important piece of your early game. And what tech you go for really does define it. Whoop. Bomber waiting until that last second to try to bait the Adept in. And I think like Terrans, they start adapting to what Protoss has a tendency to do. And if you shift around your builds a little bit, and a lot of Protoss do, then it kind of keeps them from having a lock on how to deal with the opener. Well, don't let him see that Cloak Banshee. Wait, did he see that Cloak Banshee? It's not a Cloak Banshee yet. He can still see it. Investing in the Cloak early. I'm not sure. Bomber has not scouted, by the way. He's playing the no scout Terran. Anything he's doing right now is not based in him having information. He has said, this is his build, and this is the build I'm going to do, and good luck. Now this has become a staple as well, is the scouting pylon looking for almost exactly this. Very lucky for Zest to have that in the right spot, but there's a reason. That's another meta move. Neeb's been doing it a bunch as well. Just throwing a pylon out there like, are you really going to sneak up on me with a, I don't know, any air unit will usually try to take a sneaky pathing to come in. It seems obvious to scout for that. But all the little details, like in Brood War, in StarCraft 1, even now, I believe it was, and there haven't been balance changes in Brood War since before Raynor was born. But even now, like, it was a year or two ago that using battlecruisers in the late game developed in the TVZ meta, and I haven't watched a lot recently, but just use it. There are units that were not used for decades. Literally decades, that are still being shuffled into the meta and people finding ways to use them and struggling to deal with them. Oh my god. These Banshees. Even though he scouted the Banshees, Zest loses 13 probes. Like, that... oh, the Jukes! Juke Skywalker! The bomber just shifts back. I don't think he's going to keep the Banshee alive. He killed 13 probes, though. Which, for someone who scouted the Banshees, feels like it shouldn't happen. Plenty of stalkers out there. And what is Bomber following this up? Bomber not showing us something new and groundbreaking. He's going with essentially what the ground is made of. The most stable build you see in this matchup right now. Tanks, Marines, Marauders, and Medivacs with a third base, but only after adding on that extra production. So, no big risks here so far today. Meanwhile, Zest is adding on a whole bunch of gateways. He's going to be going up, is that 10 or 8? Well, we'll see where it ends up. I think it's going to end up at 10. Because he's going for the brute force. He's got Immortals, he's got Blink Stalkers, he's got Charge Lots, he's going for +1 armor. He already has +1 weapons. So, we're going to fight it out with those basic units. Just the cream of the crop. And it's going to come down to production. Micro, but mostly who is able to keep up their production and minimize economic damage while we have it out. The Marines and Marauders stem forward. No concussive. Wait, I lied. There is concussive shells. Breaking the knees of those stalkers. Yep. A couple Medivacs escorting. Not going to risk everyone. Zest he's warping in off 10 gates at a time. He's adding on a Templar Archives here. Bomber says, you know what? Okay. 3 more barracks. We're going to 8 Rex. No Ghost Academy. No Liberators. He does have an armory, so we can start those upgrades. Some more scouting pylons out here for Zest. Storm is on the way. And up until this started, I would say Bomber, he had a good shot at just overpowering Zest. The sheer amount of bio units on the field was going to be a legitimate threat. But the sheer amount of bio units that Bomber is committed to is now a risk once that storm is done. Zest, one of the best with the storm prisms. And this army is going to be essentially just units that start with M. He built 1 tank. He has 11 Medivacs, 21 Marauders, 37 Marines, and counting. Bomber is he's going with the quantity over quality strategy. As a Terran man myself, I do approve. More bullets always solve the problem. There are Templar and the Prism. Who knows how much army they have, but there's so many bio units out here. The juiciest storms are possible. But does Bomber... Well, he has a whole bunch of Medivacs heading towards the natural right now. I'm not sure if Zest spotted or he just understands that's a big threat. The Storm Prism going to be one as well. Microing back in the center of the map. Oh, the storms are devastating. He has more. The Black Stalkers come in. The lifeboats fly away. 2 Medivacs will survive. Bomber still maintains the supply lead through his massive barracks production. But an ill-fated attack, and he discovers Templar exists. Remember me? I have returned. Oh, and then the Templar gives it its best feedback. That feedback is you should die now. Is there enough storm? There's a whole lot of Immortals. A bunch of charge lots as well. The Medivac stimming back. The 1 tank comes up to the party. Are there any more storms? The Templar doesn't quite have the energy. The bio unit's really trying to brawl it out right now. The upgrades are even, and that favors bio in a heads-up fight. The Templar does not have a storm, but the Immortal count is too damn high. The Warp Prism carries a couple Templar with it. Bomber still ahead on supply. He's still making Marines, Marauders, and Medivacs, and he ain't stopping anytime soon. A Terran to the core. It's just, well, the 2-2 is going to be finishing up. A +2 armor is already done for Zest. Bomber is still a little bit off, having an upgrade advantage. But he still has so many bio units. It's insane right now. This is so risky. But you got to risk it to butter the biscuit, as Bomber knows. How many Medivacs? 11 Medivacs. Bomber, a big believer in Medivacs for all. And now going to be heading towards the north. Some of those Medivacs bruised, but he's got more where that came from. Hopefully he just doesn't have splash damage. I'm sure that's a reliable expectation. Wait, are there charge lot? No, the rest are Templar. That was a decoy charge lot. But the Bio Army crushes the 4th. It's gone. Stim to win. There are Templar in that prism. There are Templar in that prism. If they hit the bio, it's fine. If they hit the Medivacs, that's actually pretty difficult. But here comes Bomber again! And he finds another Templar, a storm. He runs right through it. Just one-shots the Immortal, but everybody else has to retreat and do a little stutter stepping. He's on the run. Between the stims and the storms, having a bad day thus far. Oh, he didn't have, either he didn't cast it or he didn't have the energy. Meanwhile, the Bio Army is back. Good luck with that 4th base, Mr. Zest. The Terran Army is here, and they're not stopped. Well, oh god, there are storms coming in. The boys have to be pulled. The storms, they hit a big clump of Marauders. Zest is just powering through. Bomber doesn't have the critical mass. The boys are slaughtered. That might have been premature on the Terran. There are too many charge lots. Bomber split his forces too thinly. And now, his 3rd base crumbles, along with all the SCVs. Wait a second. Oh, can he get the pylon? The pylon! The charge lots are helping out a lot. The upgrades, +2/+2 versus 1/1. There's still 2 more storms, about to be 2 more storms. His base is gone. The Bio Army retreats. Almost out of energy on those Medivacs. Bomber underwater in supply here. Are there any storms with this? If he can cut off just the Gateway Army, he might have a shot here. There's going to be 2 storms, though. And 2 storms are more than enough. The SCVs, the refugees. Is that the main? The main base? Wait, no, that's the net. No, that's... He found another command center. That might have been the one from before. Thing is, the storms... Oh, he's in the Medivacs! That's not where you want to be! Get on the ground! It's too late for that. Would that have been enough to turn the tides? Maybe. Probably not. Zest proving the value of having splash damage. Bomber losing many men and just not quite having enough to replace them. You gotta respect. You don't have to reenact, but you gotta respect how committed Bomber is to his classical bio strategy. It's what every Terran player, almost every Terran player in their heart actually wants to do. They wanna micro Marines, Marauders, and Medivacs until the proverbial space cows come home. But that's just not how StarCraft works. So the thing is, it looks scary. That if Zest slips up, like he loses the prism, or he doesn't have Templar in position, yeah, Bomber's gonna run you over. It's a freight train of Terran, just barreling down the tracks. The thing is, there's a lot of things that can derail it. You just have... Zest. Mr. Zesty Boy. It's a 2-gate. He comes in from a slightly weird angle. I don't know if Bomber's going to recognize that. Oh my. A zesty build. And Bomber last game, he built a Marine and then a reactor and didn't scout. And it looks like he's going to do it again. So, Bomber's Terran versus Terran is next level. But it looks like for Terran versus Protoss, he's almost literally living in the past. Which is interesting. I haven't really seen him play TVZ yet. Fun fact, one of Bomber's biggest accomplishments was beating me in Terran versus Zerg. In MLG, I want to say Raleigh 2013. A massive upset victory in one of the first 2 rounds. So, just saying. But he's playing very similarly to how he did then. Lots of Marines and Marauders and Medivacs. He did spot it there, by the way. The Stalker comes out. If this Marine dies, Bomber dies with him. He has to pull another SCV. Whoop. The SCV micro is pretty good. So, now what? There's gonna be multiple Stalkers. He can use the shields to poke away here. Bomber says, "Well, I guess you can't touch me. Give me another command center." This is, like, this is, as we called back in the day, I had to rack my brain for it. Marine King was the biggest offender, but this is going full Terran. Going full Terran is when you sit there with essentially only a handful of Marine units, go 3 command center, and try to max out by, like, the 8-minute mark. Now, back in the day, it wasn't the 8-minute mark, but still. And then you stim a bunch and hope for the best. And complain about when Protoss goes Storm. That's very important. Not necessarily in that order. There's an Oracle on the way. The Oracle could be super effective. Oh, the Adepts. Okay, the Adepts didn't get in. Bomber's trying to get out of that Reaper. He's actually locked in his own base. There's still not a factory from Bomber, by the way. He's got an engineering bay. I've got my suspicions as to whether it's going to be... I think he suspects the Stargate here. He's going to have 4 Marines. No, 3 Marines in the main. That's not enough for an Oracle. He's not quite going to have the Marine count when the Oracle comes in. He's going to make things uncomfortable. But Zest... well, Marines have to walk around all these buildings. The Oracle does not. Bomber says, well, you kill the 2 SCVs, I'll drop 2 mules. Just kidding. 3 mules. How do you like that? How do you like that economy? Oh, watch out, Reaper. Watch out! It looks like... How many Marines have died? 4 Marines. Okay. Zest is just now taking a third. He's seen the 3rd command center, by the way. Turret's coming up just to zone out the Oracles. It appears Bomber This game has just skipped directly to what he wants. Oh, okay, so how are the force fields? They're pretty amazing. I think Bomber was a little, like, oh, come on. That was actually about perfect. That third force field made all the difference. He just barely had the energy. And now realizing that those turrets don't cover the whole mineral line. And what was a critical mass of Marines is no longer. If he had waited for Medivacs, of course, he would be being contained for a significant amount of time. But the Medivacs definitely would have made the difference. The thing is, now that he's lost all these Marines, he no longer is going to have that critical mass of bio units that can just overrun all the gateway ones. Oh, Widowmines, what are you doing? Gets a tag on him. Smart move. Zest is now working on his third Nexus. Fully mining. Oh my god, he only has one Medivac. He didn't switch to the reactor. Bomber is taking his sweet time. Oh no, he lifts up. What? Where are the units? No, the ramp! Oh. He doesn't quite nail it, but Bomber does a sick drop all the way to the other side of his main. That's like camping out in a tent in your backyard right there. Let's go on a trip, boys. I've always wanted to travel. The oracles come into the main, exploiting the fact that Bomber's building Brood War turrets. This is, it looked okay. Like, the defense and the greed from Bomber looked like they were going to pay off. But he overstepped. And now the overwhelming economy and just unit count no longer is there. Zest has backed off, even a scan being used. But Zest realizes when he's overstayed his welcome and decides to go home. Blink +1. There is no charge. It's just going to be the Stalkers, of which he has a lot. Bomber now has his 5 racks production up, but a lot slower than he would have liked to. Thing is, I still think Bomber's going to end up maxing out quicker. If this game goes long enough, he's going to end up maxing out. Even if he just throws away 3 Medivacs of units. This is so incredibly risky. Full Terran. Okay. Blink is going to be done. I don't think he's going to be expecting Blink to be the first choice, even despite all this. The Oracles are already in position to spot for it. I think as soon as you see the Oracles, you got to back off. You got to just chill. He has the upgrades. He built an armory. I'm so stressed out right now. Like, don't do it, Bomber! Don't make the mistakes of 2012! Okay. So, in classic Bomber fashion, he's going to add 2 more racks. He's going to build Marines. He's going to build Marauders. And guess what? Also more Medivacs. He's floating his factory across the map, because who needs that piece of crap? From here, 3 more barracks on the way. Bomber never learned from history. The thing is, look at that. He was down 15 supply. Now he's up by 20. Zest is building splash damage, which is the Achilles heel. Zest slowed him down so much. Will it matter, though? Does Bomber care? Wait, what happened to the... Where did the Medivacs go? Where did the Medivacs go? I can't even see them on the mini-map because they're so close to the corner. That seems like an issue. Double Robo Colossus with Thermal Lance. Like, he's gonna have to build Vikings, right? He can't just keep building Marauders. He's not gonna build Vikings. He's got now 11 Medivacs and 21 Marauders. Alright, Bomber. Here we go. He stims in. There's more stasis wards where that came from. Scans the natural in the most obvious possible tell you could ever make. Gonna drop on the side, working his way up to the north. He's just gonna brawl it out. He's got +2 weapons, no armor for you. Deny. But everything will die here. Don't worry, Bomber has men to replace them. The Blink Stalkers will go forward. They may regret that. Meanwhile, the 4th base being targeted. Bomber. Even though he lost a Medivac and almost all of the Marines and Marauders inside, he's right back up at 190 supply. Thing is, oh my God, come on, Bomber. He's a man of principle, and that principle is showing how dumb Protoss is when they're allowed to build units that aren't stalkers and charge lots. That stasis ward's going to be pretty devastating, because if those units don't die, they're just frozen. Oh no, massive stasis, about 20 supply a mile, spreads out at the natural. Well, not the natural, that's the 4th. Anyways, he's waiting. He's going to try to save the army. He's tearing through the front of the Stalkers. There's only one Colossus with it. Another round of units. Bomber is maxed out. This is a problem for him. Oh, the bio's coming unfrozen. He's trying to time it out. Does he target the Colossus? It's right there. He goes for it. Knocks it over. Down goes 1. Where's the rest of the army? Stimming in towards the 4th. Bomber slides around the top. The Colossi stuck in and out, up and down the cliff. He's still working towards the 3rd. Another stasis! Stop right there, Terran scum! Bomber, it's time to stop. One way or another. Zest pats Bomber on the head and says, simmer down over there, my friend. It ain't 2012 no more. Oh, come on. This army stims away. Zest is nearly maxed out now. Bomber has 14 Medivacs. Now there's Storm. He's still going to try to micro it out. Getting an Immortal. The Marauder count is so damn high. But it's not high enough against... Well, is it? This is such a weird fight. I can't even see anything because there are so many Medivacs on top of it. The revelation won't be much of a revelation, but it will keep track. The Colossus getting caught out. Bomber giving him the runaround. What? What? Why? Ah! Bomber! What are you doing? He's insane. He just drops over the top. The factory drawing some fire. The Terrans on an epic mission, but without Tom Cruise involved, this is an impossible one. And the Medivacs will abandon all of their charges. The Stalkers blink over the top because they can do that. Bomber needs to take some notes. Oh. And Bomber will build, you guessed it, more Marines, more Marauders, and more Medivacs. There's still a stasis ward in the mineral. He's gonna recall! He's going for the base, but the recall will come through. He backs off. But there's more than enough on both sides now. Zest actually left all his splash damage there. So... I mean... This is how a Terran dies. Boxed in by Blink Stalkers. And once again, Zest reaches the wing condition, which is just keeping Bomber from stimming for as long as possible. It's 2-0 for Zest. Both games looking very... Thank you to Artosis for that raid. Zest, one of Artosis's top 10 Terrans that at one point Artosis called the best Protoss in the world. I believe every 3 months, every quarter, we reevaluate who gets that title. And that is the Protoss who's almost certainly guaranteed to not win. But thank you, Artosis, for the raid, and thank you guys. These are from the ESL Open Cup Korea finals, week 5. Not live, but what is live anyways? And if you're on YouTube, especially not live, you might be like, wait a second, Winter. This wasn't live when I pressed that pause button on YouTube or tried to skip the ad. No, it wasn't. But if you like and subscribe, then I get more money. Zest, playing a modern... Zest building Protoss units. Bomber... building Terran units that... It's every Terran's dream. This is essentially the anti-TY. I feel like over the last... throughout Legacy of the Void especially, because of the focus on tech. The focus, like the economy, let's not get started about 6 workers versus 4 workers versus 12. But in Legacy of the Void, it's very simply the unit composition and your tech matters more than in the past. Some of the strongest units are unlocked relatively early. For Protoss, things like Oracles and Colossi being relatively quick, and Terrans having access to powerful Ghosts and Liberators, and Vikings also having some utility on the ground. It is common wisdom that a focus on just your basic gateway or barracks units is not a reliable long-term strategy. But Bomber says that will not stop him. So, it may stop him from winning the ESL Open Cup at this rate, but he still gets second place prize, 5 ESL points. I'm actually not sure how many ESL points you get for winning major tournaments, for reference, but if you win an Open Cup, you get 10 and $100. Second place gets 5 and less, but I don't know how. I think it's like, is it 50? I'm not sure. Anyways. What is this, Zest? Oh, Zest is going to proxy a Stargate right outside. He was going to proxy a Stargate on his front lawn, or at least parked in front of his house. 100% that's what he was going to do. He's up 2-0. Bomber seems to have not discovered any units that don't start with M. He was going to go like proxy Void Ray. Oh, he got the pylon finish. Oh my god, he still might. Or Robo. Like, what is the plan? There's only 2 Marines, which is not enough to kill an Adept, by the way. The probe is still waiting for its opportunity. Twilight was built on the other side. This seems a little disrespectful, to be honest, from Zest. I feel like Zest is thinking, you just tried to go mass bio on me 2 games in a row. Are you serious, right? Okay, just straight up proxy gate to support an Adept. Probably all in. Zest really mixing it up for match point. I don't like none of Bomber's builds, and this is, I don't know if this is the first time, but he's opening up with the 1-1-1, which actually, well, what is the best response to Adept Glaives Rush? Well, the best response is to scout, for one. The second best response is not to lose all your Marines. He won't die here. But essentially bunkers, anything to take out Prism, because this is not a Warp Prism play, actually. This is just straight up, I'm going to warp in a bunch of Adepts and try to kill you. And the thing is, Bomber has 2 units. So he doesn't have a starport. He's going for a 3rd command center, by the way. I didn't even notice that. There is a tank, which will be helpful, but 1 tank is not going to solve this problem. 3 tanks would be maybe, and he's putting it on the low ground. Oh, no. 3 tanks would be a start. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Look away. This is going to be rated R for wrecked. Oh, God. Oh, let's go to the bomber cam. Ah! Oh no, the tank won't even shoot. Oh no, the depot. Okay, the depot was raised. 16 SCVs. He doesn't kill him. But is this a life worth living? Oh. There is a scenario. We've seen this before. There is a scenario where if Bomber can stabilize, which is a big if. Oh, just jump him. Oh, he killed his own SCV in a panic. Everyone's super trigger happy right now. Like, a critical mass of bio units hitting before their splash damage. And we all know Bomber loves his masses of bio units. That can turn the tides. The thing is, Zest is not just killing SCVs. He's also killing the Marines. Get back in that bunker! Go in the bunker! Oh my god. So, it's not like that bio count is building up. The SCV count is not as low as it could be if he was just targeting them exclusively. But Zest has a third. He's got Blink. There's a Dark Shrine, because you know Bomber's going to be dropping every mule. But a Warp Prism has arrived. Surprise, surprise. And now he's got to deal with it in his main. Stim is technically done. Does he have... Oh, no! He got them... They're everywhere. They got the run of the place. More SCVs are going to die. It's a 42 and counting. It's an absolute... Oh, there are more. Oh. It's a disaster. Bomber will now have the Death March. He has the, well, I guess flight. He has the, well, you have every opportunity in the entire StarCraft world to prepare for this counterattack. But there's a very small chance that if you overcommitted to the attack, that you might not have enough. Oh my god, that's one Marine. And remember, there's DTs. This time Zest didn't even let Bomber get started. He's kept him at bay. That game one was kind of scary with the amount of bio on the field. He said, we'll never let that happen again. And now Bomber. The most obvious 2 Medivac drop in the history of StarCraft. There's not that many units here. There's +1, Stim, Combat Shield. A lot of probes are dying. Here come 4 DTs. Blink is done. He actually doesn't blink directly to the main, though. Will Bomber have a scan? He will. Does he realize they're a Dark Templar? He can't fight. Yeah. It's already, like, as soon as the Dark Templar goes the distance, it's already too... Oh, no, he lost everything. And now, the point remains, he can just warp in DTs in the main. Like... Oh, not anymore. Bomber. He's clawing at scraps. Oh, this Medivac took a wrong turn somewhere. That's it. GG. Zest. 3-0. Bomber playing in the past, and Zest showing him what a modern Protoss looks like. I was hoping, like, Bomber, it seems he hasn't really adapted to TVP. His macro is so incredible. He got that far. But he will get no further. Zest stops him in his tracks, winning the Korean ESL Open Cup, picking up those points, picking up that cash, and picking up the glory. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed the good games I try to show for the fans, or whatever those games were. Like and subscribe if this is on YouTube, and leave a comment about, well, I could play Terran better than Bomber because I know what a Liberator is. And you know, you might have the makings of a completely irrelevant point. But thank you for watching. Good luck and have fun.